Hi, my name is Hiromi Iyoda. I'm a recipient of Linda Lighton Artist Exchange Program in 2017. I have an undergraduate degree from California State University of Long Beach and MFA from University of Nebraska Lincoln. After finishing my graduate school, I went to my first residency at the Red Star Studio in Kansas City. That's when I found out about Linda's program. This was a great opportunity because I always wanted to go to India, but I never had enough funding to make my dream come true. When I think about India, I think about many colors, the whole color spectrum, beautiful textile, patterns and design. India is enriched in culture. Art, architecture, design, religions, and so many other aspects of daily life all come together and harmonize. So my goal was to make artwork with clay in India and finding the indigenous glaze only available in India. I also wanted to experience Indian culture, study, and gain some inspirations. I was super excited about this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For 2 months, I stayed at this residency called Nib Art Center in New Delhi. It was inside a 3-story building. The first floor was the office, second floor was the studio, third floor was my dorm, and down the basement was garment factory. It was right behind a busy shopping street, and I was easily able to explore the vendors, where they sell fruits, vegetables, bottled water, and bar soap. I was able to buy most of my life essentials right there. I'm grateful for my experience, but my studio practice had its struggle. My story must start there to understand how much I would grow. I simply underestimated how different India would be in culture, and communications, and even simple matter of transportations. I knew that June and July would be the hot season, but every day the temperature went up to over 100 Fahrenheit. Lacking an air conditioner, I quickly switched my studio practice from day to night. But then monsoon season started bringing frequent blackout. The kitchen decor was only a hot plate and electric kettle. There wasn't any washing machine on site, so I had to hand wash all my clothes and hang dry on the roof. I find out the individual household in India don't own washing machine at home. The upper class people have laundry maid who come to their house to pick up and return their laundry weekly. People who cannot afford this service simply have to hand wash their own clothes. Finding the necessity for my work, clay, glaze, and kiln was difficult. The first batch of clay I purchased from local artists lacked the plasticity and non-usable. Everything I made with this clay split off like a flower petal. So I did search for local clay store, but it was over 5 hours away by taking trains and buses nearby the Himalayas. And I find out local ceramists typically deal with this by traveling in group together and transport clay back to the city. So I started contacting local ceramists instead and purchased 4 different clay bodies from 2 different local artists from their studio space. Even this was difficult as June and July is a hot season in India and so many people on vacation summer cooler. This is a typical size of work I make in my studio space. But my kiln access was either 45 minutes away at the local ceramic studio or 1 hour away at the local ceramic school because the kiln that the residency people promised was not on its site. It was a little bit away from the site. And anything you make with clay is hard to transport, especially on the rough street of India. With the monsoon season of July, most streets were flooded and making potholes unrecognizable. Most people commute either on foot, bicycle, or scooter. So now my medium-sized sculpture made it into the kiln. Indigenous glazes, which were of specific interest, were not available. Glaze recipes I saw were all coming from the United States. One of the local artists mentioned that If I want ceramic material only available in India, I will have to travel deep into the Himalayan mountain where no artists speak English and they don't take any apprentices. Another ceramist recommended for me to read this book about legendary Indian ceramist Saddleback Singh, but his grades are mostly blue grades, which I did not find a challenge. Frustrated with unforeseen differences of my home and new studio space, I met up with my friend Archana. She and I went to the same graduate school and she's originally from India. And she told me that this kind of unexpected circumstance is normal to the people in India. She also suggested me to travel outside New Delhi and fully experience her country, and took me to local craft fair and many other places. Unlike so many parts of the world, India's craft culture is still intact in daily life. When things break, they don't just throw away, they choose to fix it. Artists in India are upper caste people with money. People without money are destined to work. The poverty level there has no comparison to the United States. I've seen so many street beggars who are such of a young age. Art making is really privilege. I realize I need to appreciate for what I already have. It is important to make a plan, but truth is that nothing's guaranteed and things are subject to change. This is part of normal life. We all need to be flexible and come up with ongoing solutions. For the same reason, many people in India work multiple jobs, so if anything goes wrong with one, they still have another. They also pray a lot to God for better life and protections. I believe their belief exists to help them deal with the difficulty in daily life and unexpected circumstances. When something goes wrong, they want to believe the action was caused by God and Goddess to ultimately bring them better outcome. Thus, people in India find God and Goddess in many places, and elements, statues made in trees and even in rocks, were used for worshipping. They carry around their favorite god's photo and drawing and ask for its protection. While I was waiting for delivery of clay, transportation of sculpture, and waiting for the response from local artists, I took my sketchbook and started drawing the people who helped me as a gift of appreciation. I give away these drawings by tearing my sketchbook each time. I think these drawings are much more interesting than anything I made during my stay in India, so I listed here. I think they love my drawing because the pictures and drawings are a way of worship, and they felt like they became part of God. I gained a lot of friendship, and I still stay in touch with them. What we think is normal may not be valid in a different country. But for the people who live in that country, that difficulty may be just part of normal life. This 2 months experience gave me the strength to be flexible and to come up with a solution to seize the difficult event. India was full of people with this energy. Their willpower to survive and skill to come up with a solution was something I never experienced before. Now I believe the art is privilege to me, and I will look forward to continuing to grow as an artist by appreciating this special privilege. At the end, I'm so grateful to Linda for this experience. I would not have this experience without her foundation. Thank you, Linda.